Can you see the document, Sarah?
Can.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't do crocus survivors. So only 4 drugs we are doing today because I have class with Farah also, a different topic on Friday. I couldn't finish much of your portions, but don't worry, as I say, it's only next week also. After next week, the batch 2 portions will be completed. So then I will manage your portions. So for today, we'll be doing these 4 drugs: Collinsonia, Cundurango, Corralium rubrum, and Cratageus. So I'm going to start Materia Medica. I mean, I'm going to take Materia Medica for the first time, right? Were you always taught Materia Medica by Partha sir only, or anyone else had taught you Materia Medica?
Hmm?
Anyone else have taught you Materia Medica, or just Dr. Partha Chakrabarti? Only he taught you Materia Medica?
Mm, I think Miss Shazwani once taught me Veterinary Medica 1, I think.
Hmm. And then it was always Partha sir.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know. Partha sir teaches from the his experience. I'm not as experienced, but I'll try my best. We'll see how it goes for you. So any of these medicines, because these 4 medicines, Collinsonia is actually very rarely used in the clinic, and Condorango also. But any of these remedies, have you used in your clinic?
Hmm?
Any of these remedies that we are going to take today, this Collinsonia, Condorango,
Mm-hmm.
Corallium, Crataegus, have you given or used any time in your clinic?
Yes, Collinsonia for constipation in
Wow. Huh.
infant, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Pata once taught this drug, Collinsonia.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I forgot to ask you. They were saying that some of the drugs in this semester is already taught for you. So
Mm-mm.
if you give me the list, I can avoid those drugs. If you want me to take, I can take. What you wish,
Oh,
just let me know.
okay. Later I send the list of
Okay.
medicine that Dr. Pata has taught me.
Okay. So I don't have to take those drugs, right? It's okay
Yes.
for you. Yeah. Okay. So, Sonia, so that you know, it is the constipation for infants, and you have used that medicine. That's what you told, right?
Mm-mm, yes.
Okay. Corallium, Crataegus.
Corralium not. Cratageus, I know it's for heart disease.
Okay. So, yeah, very clinically useful medicines are those what we are going to study. Not at all the polycrus from head to foot, no. Specific remedies, we can say. Not specific, like they have a special action on certain organs. We can say organopathic, certain specific therapeutic indications. So, we'll start with Collinsonia canadensis. Uh, and in Materia Medica, I'll be using Microsoft Word, okay? PPTs in Materia Medica, I don't like, and I don't feel a continuity in that. So,
Don't
Colin
like.
Sonia, what for her?
Okay.
Oh no, I feel like just go continuously. If it is PPT, not PPT, in one PPT, we try to finish one thing. Usually, that's the style of slides. So material is something that is going on, going on, going on. So I always use this Microsoft Word for that. So its common name is stone root, or because we use that root part, which is almost looking like a stone, the dried one. That is the part which is used. This is the plant called insonia, and we use that dried root. So it looks like a stone, and hence the common name stone root. It belongs to the natural order or the family Labiaceae, and preparation, we prepare it from the tincture of fresh root. Clinically, it is used for hemorrhoids and also heart complaints. Heart is also over there in collinsonia. Hemorrhoids is very important. Actually, it, as you told, this is useful for constipation, but mostly one of the important reason for constipation is hemorrhoids. If there is hemorrhoids, the person will be obviously having constipation. So the more than constipation in children, yeah, it is the symptom is there. I'm not saying it is not there, but clinically, when we ask the patient, the medicine, the drug, the most important feature will be hemorrhoids or the piles. That is the characteristic of collinsonia. And if we have to explain this drug, collinsonia, in a single word, a keyword, we can use the term as congestion. This congestion, in case of collinsonia, we'll see in the pelvic and also portal organs. So portal means in the upper abdomen, you know, the portal circulation, the liver, the connection from the portal circulation. So any congestion over there, and also to the lower part, that is the pelvic organs. So in the ovarian region, um, then the uterine region, all the organs which are present in the pelvic region, the urinary organs, rectum. So congestion, that is extreme blood accumulation is what is congestion is. So if there is extreme congestion in the pelvic and also in the portal area, it is the main medicine that we have to think is collinsonia. And collinsonia usually we can give in 30, 200, etc. But my teachers, I used to see them giving as a tincture mainly. Then indications. So as I told, there is a congestion in the pelvic region, all the pelvic organ, and also the portal congestion. And what it is going to result if there is extreme accumulation of blood in the portal organs or in the pelvic, what is going to happen medically or scientifically? What is going to happen if it is in the pelvic region? Because mostly the reproductive organs, uterus, ovary, fallopian tube, all these are pelvic organs, it is going to result in dysmenorrhea. And if it is portal congestion, because the portal circulation is affected, that may result in hemorrhoids. So this will be the sphere of action or the clinical area where this drug called insonia is going to act. So this congestion of pelvic structure or pelvic organ with hemorrhoids, we can see especially in latter months of pregnancy. So in latter months of pregnancy, that is one of the physiological reason for which we have this congestion. We'll be seeing both the abdominal congestion and also the pelvic congestion during pregnancy. So a lady who is coming to you in the latter months of pregnancy with some hemorrhoidal complaints and also some edema in the lower extremities, which is indicating a pelvic congestion, we can think about the medicine called insonia. Then there is, though we say that it is pelvic and portal congestion, collinsonia is also having cardiac diseases. Because if it is the portal congestion that is affected, hemorrhoids, which means the heart, the circulation completely is not working, which means the heart is also affected. So there will be dropsy from cardiac diseases, or in other words, cardiac dropsy. And cardiac dropsy usually appear in conditions of heart failure. I'm not making it complicated saying too much scientific diseases, but put in short, what is happening is the circulation is not functioning properly in that person. So, because of the circulation is not functioning, that is, the heart is not pumping properly, the fluid is getting accumulated. It is not reaching the heart region, or the complete circulation is not possible. So, wherever the fluid accumulation is there, so sometimes if it is the cardiac dropsy, the fluid accumulation will be seen in the lower part of the feet, that is in the ankle region. So, edema over there, or the fluid accumulated in this portal and the pelvic region. So that if it is in the portal, it will be exhibited as what is that dropsy called as? What's the dropsy in abdomen called as? Oh my God, I'm not getting that term. You know what is the dropsy in abdomen? Oh,
No, don't know.
uh,
Cardiac
ascites.
dropsy
This
or
one,
abdomen dropsy.
ascites. Have you heard that?
Oh, SITs. Okay,
Yes,
I know.
SITs. And also, if it is anasarca or general dropsy all over the body, we can think about this medicine. But that congestion, the cardiac
Mm.
complaints, that relate resulting in dropsy, and the patient having hemorrhoids, that is well indicated. So there can be palpitation with piles or indigestion. Heart action is persistently rapid but weak. Heart action, like because the congestion is there, the blood is accumulating. Heart is trying to work hardly, but it is working very weak. So it will try to pump the blood as maximum as possible forcefully, trying to, but it is not able to compensate. So the pathology is actually very much deep. That is why cholinsonia we usually in clinical purpose don't give in high potency, we give in lower potency or rather tincture, because the person is already in a much very weakened condition. Cholinsonia will be. And there is as an MCQ, this sentence is very important. An MCQ may come from that. After heart is relieved, old piles reappear or suppressed menses return. So it is a alternation of complaints. When there are heart complaints, there won't be any piles or the menses. But when heart complaints is relieved, then the piles will be reappearing, or the menses that was suppressed, it will be reappearing, which means there is an alteration of complaints. When the heart complaint is the no hemorrhoids, menses being suppressed, and when heart complaints goes, the menses reappear, the hemorrhoids reappear. This hemorrhoids, when it is there, it is very chronic, painful, and bleeding in nature. And sensation as if sticks, sand, or gravel had lodged in the rectum. And this is a general feature. Whichever drugs we take for this one, whatever, hemorrhoids, or even when we take the practice of medicine textbook and see what are the symptoms of hemorrhoids, what we are going to find is same thing. Sometimes only difference may be sometimes piles may not be bleeding, but usually piles will result in, or hemorrhoids will result in some bleeding, and there will be constipation. And because of this thing, the congestion being there and the blood being accumulated, something swelling, because hemorrhoids means a part of the rectum or the anal is being protruded out. So because of that, there will be some obstructive sensation. Something has come out like an obstruction, so there will be some obstructive sensation, some discomfort, some pain. So always a patient with hemorrhoids will be saying that something is sticking there. Something is sticking there means because of that pain also, and also especially when the person is sitting, if the hemorrhoids has been protruded out, he will be always having that sensation that something is sticking out. So it's a common sensation actually in case of hemorrhoids, as if some sticks or some small gravel, that is small stones or sand, has been present in the rectal region because of its constant presence or constant protrusion. And this we can see in aesculus also, aesculus hypocastranum. But generally, more almost if you take nux vomica, uh, sulfur, ratania, peonia, these are the other remedies for hemorrhoids. You'll see the same features. Then there can be dysentery also with tenesmus, hemorrhoidal dysentery with tenesmus. Dysentery means the stool will be mixed with blood, and tenesmus means they will have to push it very, uh, um, I mean, they have to push for stool very hardly because there is hemorrhoids and there is constipation. The stool won't be going very easily. So, when the stool is mixed with blood, we call it is as dysentery. But still, it is not constipation. But stool is going. I mean, in case of dysentery, the stool will be mixed with blood, but still there will be a great pain, great straining, gripping pain to push that stool out. That is why it is called as dysentery with tenesmus. We have to push out, not the patient has to push very hardly for the stool to come out. And there will be alternate constipation and diarrhea. Constipation because the hemorrhoids are there, but it is not that patient is having much more pathology that because the stool will be forming every day as he takes food. So then it has to be eliminated from the body. There will be tenesmus, the stool will be mixed with blood, and this constipation, diarrhea can be alternating. Uh, so there will be congestive inertia of lower bowel. That's what I explained to you because of the accumulation of the blood and also due to this hemorrhoids. Always there will be inertia. Inertia means no action at all because it is in a inertia and hence the patient has to strain a lot. There will be constipation. The stool will be very sluggish. Sluggish in the sense the movement of the stool will be very slow type and with pain and also great flatulence. There will be pruritus in pregnancy, and because of that, the patient is even unable to lie down. So, if a lady, a pregnant lady in her later months, comes to you with the complaints of hemorrhoids, and because if it is hemorrhoids, that's something that has been protruded out, they will be always having an itchy sensation and that will even prevent her to lie down. Collinsonia is a good medicine. Then we also have chronic nasal, gastric, and pharyngeal catarrh because there is affection of also mucous membrane. So wherever there is mucous membrane, there is a congestion over there. As a result, there will be some discharge that is formed or the mucous membrane discharge. So the mucous membrane we can see in the nasal region, in the mouth or the gastric region, and also in the throat region. So from all these area, there can be some catarrh that is formed. So what we see will be in case of nasal catarrh, the person will be always having some mucus discharge. The nasal discharge will be coming out very thick. And if it is pharyngeal catarrh, the person will be raising always some phlegm. And if it is gastric catarrh, we can see in the dysentery or the diarrhea, the stool will be mixed with some mucus thing. So this feature, if you remember the drug Aesculus, Aeschylus, it is also having hemorrhoids. Along with that, they also have some respiratory, especially the nasopharyngeal symptoms. So a comparison can come between collinsonia and also Aeschylus because they are having both having hemorrhoids and both are having action on mucous membrane. So that comparison can come. And another drug with this throat complaints and hemorrhoids is Aeschylus, I told you. The other one is mm, which is the drug with uh, purple color hemorrhoids starting with A.
Got
Allos. Yeah,
I
allos.
think so.
What did you say? What did you say to me?
Allosaccharine. I think so.
You told allosocotrina?
Yes.
Yes, yes, allos, allos. So comparison can be
Yes.
asked between allos. Yeah, 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 allos itself. Allos itself.
Okay.
So
Okay.
allos is also another comparative drug, like in question paper, like a comparison can be with aesculus and also allos, because all these three drugs they have action on hemorrhoids and also the mucous membrane action. But the difference of cholinsonia will be uh, cholinsonia is more indicated for pregnant women. That congestion is more prominent. There is an edema that is more prominent. So those features, this pelvic organ congestion, that comes for cholinsonia. Another two, they do have hemorrhoids, but and also mucous membrane, but they don't have this pelvic congestion or better suited for females or during pregnancy. They don't have both aesculus and allos. But allos, they do have headache, a very characteristic headache. Then, yeah, this is the sentence constipation of children from intestinal atony. There is cough from excessive use of voice, ministers sore throat, but though it is not that important, we can compare this symptom to the symptom we learned earlier, that is pharyngeal catarrh. Control V. Uh, Then this medicine is said to be of special value when given before operations, especially if the operation is done for rectal diseases or hemorrhoids. It is of special value. Not sure. Anyway, the modalities will be aggravation from the slight emotion or excitement. That is the most important aggravating factor from the slightest emotion or excitement. And the same feature we can see in another drug, that is argentum nitricum. Argentum nitricum doesn't have any uh, what symptom? Uh, uh, Constipation or hemorrhoids. They don't have. Argentum nitricum is more having diarrhea, but they do have this mental emotion or excitement aggravation. They have. Have you studied Argentum nitricum?
Yes.
Yeah. What is the main symptom? You remember in Argentum nitricum? What is the main symptom?
Anxiety.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Anxiety before going to church, opera, or any film. Not film, sorry. What is that? Exams. So they feel like to go at that time to washroom. They will have a diarrhea-like sensation, like what we learn in gelsemia. So the same condition, the slightest mental emotion or excitement is aggravating for cholinsonia also, and also in arginine nitricum. And arginine nitricum, other than that, this anxiety, they also have some CNS complaints, locomotor ataxia. Um, that symptoms we can see in argentum nitricum, a kind of hysteria, some CNS affections. That's what we see in argentum nitricum. But for them also, there is the slightest mental emotion or excitement aggravates the complaints, but they don't have this constipation and relations, antidotes to Nux vomica. I see that Nux vomica is also a very good remedy for hemorrhoids. So, cholinsonia is something which is very suited for congestion, pelvic and portal congestion. So, pelvic congestion, there will be dysmenorrhea, and portal congestion resulting in hemorrhoids. And how this congestion starts? Mostly because of some cardiac diseases, so that there will be a cardiac dropsy. So heart will be trying or doing its function very hardly, pumping it, but still it is not able to, so it will be very weak also. And the pelvic congestion, especially during the latter months of pregnancy. So in that woman in during pregnancy, anyway, she's not having dysmenorrhea, but she will be having the complaints of hemorrhoids with pruritus or itching, so that she won't be able to lie down. And then if we are going to compare in case of children, we also going to get the symptom of constipation. So hemorrhoids will be in cholinsonia, a sensation as if some sand or small stones, that is gravel, or some sticks are protruding out, or that pain will be there. And then it will be bleeding in nature also. So that is in short about cholinsonia, that congestion and hemorrhoids. Second medicine is Cundurango. Though we pronounce it as Cundurango, C-O, Cundurango, if you take the medical textbooks, materia medica textbooks, even if it is Boric or J.H. Clark, these are the two books mainly I refer, okay? And if the drug is there in Alansky note, then I refer that also. So the books that I refer or from which I make this note is mainly from Boric and J.H. Clark, and also if it is there in Allen's also. So scientific name, so Condorango, this medicine in Allen's keynote, it is not there. It's only present, I mean, in other two books, that is the Clark and Boric. Other two books means it may be in other textbooks, but what I refer out from that, it's only present in Boric and Clark. And in both the books, the spelling is given as this one, Cundurango, C-U-N. That's how they have given the spelling, but we pronounce it as Condurango. So I just named it Condurango because the common name of the plant is condor plant. So even if it is Condurango or CO, it doesn't matter. But the way we pronounce it is actually Condurango itself. So I just typed in the way it is pronounced so that we don't mix up the spelling also. So the scientific name is Gonolobus condurango, a common name condor plant, and it is belonging to the natural order Asclepiaceae. Habitat, it is seen in high altitudes of Ecuador or South America, it doesn't matter much. And preparation, it is mainly used as a tincture, or a trituration is also made of the dried bark of the stem, though we always get it potency forms and also in the tincture form. This trituration or the powdered form of Condorango, it's very difficult to get. I doubt whether any pharmacy is making that. Anyway, this is the plant, and we are using actually the dried stem of Condorango, this one, as our medicine. So Condorango, it is a very good remedy. Condorango, always remember, it is as a specific. It is one of the specific for cancer conditions. Cancer, especially where the skin and mucous membrane are there. So we can say it is mostly suitable for cancer lips, cancer tongue, the rodent ulcer, cancer stomach, mainly where the mucous membrane are there. And also it is also good for it is also good for epithelioma and breast cancer. Then the other complaints which we can give this medicine is varicose ulcer, lupus. Lupus is kind of skin varicose.
Varicose ulcer is the same with varicose vein.
Yeah, the latest stage of varicose vein. Initially, varicose vein, you know that it will be becoming very tortuous, very prominent.
Yes.
Yeah, that is varicose vein. But later, because when this varicose vein is tortuous for a very long time, it means a very long time, like 10 to 15 years, it may take. So initially, it will start as a slight toxicity. You know, the people who are having that specific tendency. There are people who are in certain occupation have a tendency to develop this varicosity or varicose vein. People who stand for a long time. So teachers, and then people who are musicians. Musicians in sense, people, yeah, musicians in the sense there is a special category of musicians, especially in India, who are
What is it?
actually called as, huh?
Incision, I cannot get it.
Musician, what you're asking?
Yes, I cannot get it. What do you mean incision?
Music, musician. M U,
Musician. Oh,
Musician.
musician.
People,
Okay, okay, okay.
okay, okay,
Is it like
yeah.
singer or playing band?
Playing band because they are also standing for a long time. And then, if
Oh,
there is
okay,
some
okay.
heavy music instrument, people will tend to sit down.
Mm-mm.
Like in some of the musical instruments in India, it is very heavy that the person has to sit with that instrument on the floor.
Mm?
He will be sitting on the floor, and the musical instrument will be kept on the floor, and then he will be playing it. Even some type of drums, they have
Mm?
to sit. So if these people are actually going for concert, the musical concert, it will be taking 5 or 6 hours, and three, at least 3 or 4 hours. It starts at 6 p.m., finishes at 9 p.m. That's usually the musical concert. And then all these 3 hours, people are sitting in the same manner on the floor. They don't get up in between and go. They're always, it is usually the people who are singing, they make change, but the people who play instruments, they are not usually changing. They are sitting in that constant posture. So because of this constant sitting or constant standing, people will have a tendency to develop varicose vein. And another reason for varicose vein development is actually pregnancy because of that congestion. So once this varicose vein developed, that is the tortuous ulcers, not the ulcers, sorry, the varicose vein, what is next going to happen is, it won't happen in 1 day or 2 day, okay? It will go, it is minimum going to take 10 to 15 years. The blood, which is in the lower part, that is the blood being pumped to the feet area, it will not now return easily. Already the blood have to return back to heart by which is against gravity from the leg. It has to move against gravity to the upper part. And when these veins are becoming tortuous, it is like a water tube or the water hose which has become tortuous. So the what it won't be coming properly. Already it is very difficult to the movement upward against gravity, and then the veins have also become tortuous. So this blood won't be returning back from the small vessels, small arteries and veins in the leg region. They will be getting pooled for a long time. It will take long time, and the blood will be pooling over there. The person will be having some edema in the ankle region and all. This will go on for a long time. It will take years for this development. Then it will go on, and then the edema is somewhat constant because the edema is there or the fluid congestion. The whole, if you remember the pathology of edema, some salts also will get deposited near to the water area. Sodium, potassium, etc. will get deposited. Now, I'm not going into. Anyway, because of this edema, the person will have a tendency to scratch always. He will be having a itching sensation. So he will be always scratching there. And then the scratching, and because of this blood pooling for a long time, even the hemoglobin will be there. So their pigmentation, the hematin will be there. The iron components will be concentrated in that area. So everything causes him a constant irritation, and they will have a tendency to itch always or scratch always. And this constant scratching, initially it will be just a scratch like this and then leave it. then it will become constant. And because of this constant scratching and the edema being always there, finally one ulcer means a small, initially it will be very small, it will be appearing, but once it appeared, it will go on increasing size, but it will never decrease. Usually it never decreases, and then it will go into an ulcer stage, a very big ulcer, varicose ulcer, which you might have seen. Either maybe if it is seen, you had any patient with varicose ulcer?
No.
Okay, it is a very difficult condition to control. Once, because we can control varicose vein pain using our medicines. Vipera is a very nice medicine for varicose vein. Then Calcarea floor, that's also another good medicine. These are the two usually used medicines for this condition, and also hemamelis, Calcarea floor, Vipera. But once the ulcer developed, so always we have to say to this varicose vein person, see, you don't whenever he is going to sleep or whenever he is sitting for a long time, completely informally, not for his musical concert or something, but at that time to raise his legs to a higher level, so that blood can be returning back to heart. But that is something we have to give him as an accessory measure to do, and say him that if ever he feels itching, don't scratch. Don't scratch violently, especially with nails or some sharp instruments. If at all he is feeling itchy, he should use some soft cloth and just rub it over. Because once the skin is broken over there, that is the ulcer appears, then it is very difficult to heal that varicose ulcer. The main problem is because the blood uh, congestion is there, it is not reaching properly. I mean, the pooling of blood is there. Because of this ulcer, the blood will be exposed, and then the vessels which has to, in which the blood has to return, won't function properly. This ulcer is never going to heal. So once it develops, it has gone from not only our even Ayurveda or even allopathy. They can't do anything once the ulcer develop. So that is one thing we have to take care of. But this medicine, Cundurango, they say that varicose ulcers, this can be indicated. I don't have any practical experience. I have not given Cundurango for varicose ulcers. Never I have seen any of my teachers also, because we had to have a clinical exposure from our second year. So none of my teachers, I have seen them giving Cundurango for varicose ulcers. Even if they are giving, I don't think it will work. And if it is very smaller in the initial stage, maybe, but once it has become a bigger size one, it won't go. It is not easy to heal that. However, this is given in case of varicose ulcers. So in future, if some patient is coming to you, you can try to give. But in varicose ulcers, rather than the medicine, we have to give them a lot of lifestyle modification things to do, because varicosity, if it is come due to pregnancy, of course we can't do anything. Like pregnancy is a physiological process, but other than that, varicose vein is actually a lifestyle induced disease due to that particular job the person is doing, in which he has to either sit continuously or stand continuously. That posture is resulting in the disease. So we cannot say like a teacher who is having varicose vein, you can never say to the teacher, okay, you quit your job, you do something else, because that's a livelihood. But we can give them additional measurements, like don't stand for continuously, even when the person is taking class. In between, like after half an hour, take a break, or give students some homework or something, not homework, like it's something activity, so that moment she can sit somewhere and then raise her legs a little bit high up. So those measures are very much important in the management of varicose vein, and but never to scratch it so that no ulcers develop. Then it is under controllable. Okay, once the ulcer develop means it is gone from our hands, not only ours, any medical stream. Then this is also can be given, Cundurango can be given for lupus. Lupus means it's also a skin disease in which the skin will appear very reddish in color. It will be much itching and the skin will be a bit thick. It won't be just very small reddish or inflammation like eczema, like nothing like that. It will be a very chronic condition in which the skin will be very thick, very leather-like thickness, we can say like that. And then it will be much itching and also reddish in color. So for lupus, we can give that. Then stricture of esophagus. So stricture of esophagus means in the esophageal region, if there is some constriction, we can think about uh, giving this medicine. And this constriction can also be as a result of some growth in the esophagus, or in other words, cancer of esophagus. That also we can think about. So already we told that it is a good remedy for cancer, the tongue, lips, stomach, breast, epithelial structures or epithelioma, and now even the esophagus. Then these are actually the homeopathic indications or the conditions which we give. It is also seen that the active principle, if we are going to take that the active principle, the chemical active from the Cundurango plant, the Cundurangin, physiologically it produces locomotor ataxia or the movement incoordination, some CNS complaints that will be produced maybe if the person is taking it as a poison in case. But homeopathically, what we have seen is it's mostly indicated in cancer conditions. So we'll see the indications. So Conturango, it belongs to the milkweed family and is thus related to Calotropis. I hope you know what is Calotropis. It's very common in Malaysia. Have you seen?
Mm, I
If you
have
if you
to
take,
Google it.
huh, yeah, do it because I don't know the common name. I mean, not the Malaysian name. Calotropis, we have one medicine for her, and not only that, if we are going to uh, tear any part of that plant, even the leaves, or if we are going to tear off that leaves from the plant, there will be some milky discharge coming from that. Calotropis.
Kayu Baduri.
You're not getting it?
Um, yes, but I never heard about it.
But this is usually seen. I mean, I once went for hiking in some mountain region. Okay, some mistake took me. So this is very commonly seen in calotropis. The thing is, if we have touched that milky discharge, that's a plant, and if we are going to even tear that leaf or take away that or remove that leaf from that stem, the plant, from that torn away part, a milky discharge will be coming out. So it is in the same, that's why it is called as milkweed family. When we are going to tear out, milk will be coming out from that plant. So it is in the same family Condorango and Calotropis belongs to. And in case of Calotropis, if we are coming into touch with this milk, it is very sticky nature, okay? So, and also slightly burning. If by accident, this milk, if it fell on our hand area, we were trying to take this because this calotropis is actually very um, valuable plant in India. In it is commonly used. I mean, it is our medicine also, but also used for this kind of herbal medicine, or we can say like in a kitchen medicine or something. So for many of the skin complaints, they use this calotropis. So sometimes the herbal medicine or the people who do, in home itself, we say if sudden cut happens, our elders or grandmothers or still elder people, they might say apply some turmeric over that. So that turmeric is antiseptic. So like that, calotropis is usually advised for any type of skin disease. Usually this ringworm type. So
Type.
people will get ringworm.
Oh, okay.
So people when they try to take, because this is casually seen here that not a proper ornamental plant but seen as bushes everywhere in the, even in the public road, when people pluck it, and because the milk will be flowing or coming out, if you are not careful, if it fall on our hands, it is going to bring a bit of burning sensation. And if we don't do anything, there will be complete itching over there. It will become reddish. It will become brownish because of that burning nature. That milk is having some chemical principle which will make the skin very irritated. And then we are going to scratch it, and skin is going to, a small ulcer will be appearing. And after a few days, it will go okay. So we have to be very careful with this milk when we are trying to pluck the leaf of this calotropis. So it is in the same family, Cundurango also belongs. So calotropis, as I told, it is very much useful in the skin condition, especially when there is some ulcer. Like the irritation will come up, the skin will become red, then brownish, and then some ulcer may appear, which means calotropis is more indicated in syphilitic condition. Ulcer means syphilic. There is a break, there is an ulcer, which means a syphilitic condition. So, so calotropis is more for syphilitic conditions. And then we can say Cundurango, which belongs to the same family as that of calotropis. It is also having action over cancer. So, calotropis, it is having a syphilitic action, and Cundurango is also having action on cancer. Though cancer, because there is a growth, increased growth, we say that cancer is actually psychotic mindset. And it is true also. I'm not contradicting that. But when that cancer, that excessive growth, and ulcer appears on that, then it is no more in a psychotic stage. It has gone into a syphilitic stage, or rather a psychosyphilitic stage. That's whenever an ulcer, a cut, a break has happened, then it is syphilitic nature. So Cundurango and calotropis belong to the same category, that is the milkweed family, or the milk oozes out when we are going to deal with these two plants. And calotropis is very good for syphilitic conditions, and same with Cundurango. It is also good for cancer with ulcer, which means it is also having syphilitic action. And then if there is ulcer in the sense over the cancer, this cancer one, or the varicose ulcer, or the rodent ulcer is actually the cancer, the basal cell carcinoma. Another name for basal cell carcinoma is that this one, rodent ulcer. So from those ulcers, because it is a cancerous condition, the nature of that ulcer will be, it will be very old, very chronic, obstinate, remaining so since long years. Foul smelling discharges will be coming from that. So the ulcers which are very old, long standing, obstinate, and from that very bad smelling or offensive, and ichorus means it will be a serous discharge, similar to the discharge from a watery serum discharge from that ulcer. It will be coming, not bloody. It will be some watery, some mucus will be present, that serous discharge, but it will be extremely offensive. So that's the nature of the ulcer in case of Cundurango. It is given for carcinoma of the lips with an unclean and sinus ulcer. So unclean means very dirty looking, very offensive discharge coming, and sinus means there will be a opening, or a sinus is actually something with an opening, a cavity will be seen. So that ulcer will be present. So the nature of the ulcer of Cundurango will be, it will be open in nature, sinus, or the presence of sinus, and offensive ichorus discharge will be coming out. Then this is a characteristic feature or a main indication in case of Cundurango, a painful crack in the right corner of the mouth. So if a person is coming, there are many cases that has been told. Yeah, that told by Dudgeon actually. Um, Not Dudgeon. Yeah, the Dudgeon is saying about some other cancer, the breast cancer. There is in Clark actually they have given a clinical condition of cancer which was treated only with one indication that the patient was having such a painful crack in the right corner of the mouth. So in the mouth region, in the right side, when there was a crack that was found, and based on that, this medicine was given for cancer condition and it helped in complete cure. Dudgeon also say this is a very good remedy uh, for breast tumor. And actually, he had a case in which the patient was having breast tumor, and some good remedies for breast tumor is Asterias rubens and Hydrastis generally for any type of cancer condition. Then breast tumor phytolacca is another good remedy. So he was actually giving this breast tumor patient Hydrastis, but it was increasing. Hydrastis didn't have any action. Breast tumor continued its growth. And after to that, seeing that hydrastis is not having any effect, the tumor is going on growing, he gave phytolacca. And it was also not helping, but the growth was somewhat stopped under conium. Conium is also another good remedy for cancerous condition. But when he gave Cundurango, this breast cancer entirely disappeared. There's a small mistake with the capital. So the breast tumor, it was increasing steadily under hydrastis and phytolacca. It was controlled by conium, controlled only, not cured. But under Cundurango, this condition, that is the breast cancer of the patient, completely got disappeared. So this medicine, Cundurango, is also useful for breast cancer. So this I already told the cancer is originating in the epithelial structures. That's why we told in the clinical condition it's good for epithelioma. Then this one also I have told you that affections in the mucocutaneous orifices where the skin and the mucous membrane is joining. So there will be actually cracks over the ruggeds or cracks at mucocutaneous orifices. So where is this mucocutaneous orifices? Mostly commonly seen in the mouth area, the corner of the mouth where the skin and mucous membrane is joining. Then our nose area, the nasal area. Then another part will be the anal area. So in all these structures, there will be ruggeds also. And the medicine for us for ruggeds will be sarsaparilla, petroleum, graphitis. Those are the. So Conrango, also we have got that ruggeds or cracks in the mucocutaneous orifices and also warty excrescence. Because it's a cancer or tumor, so we have warty excrescence, which are leading indications for the medicine. Then, because it's cancer, definitely there will be pain, cutting, stinging, burning, tingling, constrictive type of pain. But if I want you to, if the pain is being remembered, I need only you to remember few words from that. Not a good color. Wait 1 second. Cutting, burning, and tingling type. This one. So that will be the leading indication, and the pain will be cutting, burning, and tingling. Cutting type, you can understand what it is. That's being exposed to. Burning, a burning pain. I told you if you are going to touch that milky part or the that is calotropis, but still because conrang also belong to the same family, you're going to touch it, it is going to cause a burning pain. And tingling will be a type of numbness also will be associated. So that type of pain we have in case here. Then there's a medicine for stomach cancer also. So it says that it decreases, allays means decreases, it reduces the gastralgia, the pain in the stomach, which is seen associated with cancer stomach. So if the patient is having cancer stomach, this is a good remedy, especially when he is having increased pain. It stimulates the digestive function and thus improves the general health. Or it modifies secretions of digestive glands, which means when the person is actually having stomach cancer, the stomach is, the stomach is actually producing so many enzymes which help in digestion. So if there is stomach cancer, then the stomach is not going to produce any enzymes, and that is going to affect the nutritional status of the patient. But in those conditions, when we give Condurango as a medicine, Condurango not just reduces the cancer, or when it is improving that cancer of the stomach, it is also improving the action or the function of the stomach, so that all the digestive function, the digestive liquids or the enzymes, it will be properly released, and then the person will be having a good health. So it stimulates the digestive function, modifies the secretions of digestive glands, and thus improves the general health. It also allays gastralgia, which is accompanying the cancer of stomach. And there will be a symptom of cancer of stomach will be vomiting of food and indurations in left hypochondrium. So if you know the anatomical part, the left hypochondrium, the structures, organs in that area will be mostly stomach, then pancreas, spleen. So mostly those structures, especially stomach. The stomach cancer, uh, also this our medicine is Conrango is very nice. Then going towards the skin we already saw it's good for ulcer and all, but still it is good for blotches. Some reddish eruptions will be seen, eczema, pimple, pustule, indolent ulcer or obstinate ulcer, which is not being cured by any other medicines or long-standing one, lupus, varicose ulcer, syphilitic conditions, epithelioma or serous. Epithelioma is the tumor from epithelial structure, and serous will be cancer which are very hard in nature. The surface cancers, when we touch over here, the skin cancer or something, which are very hard to touch, that is serous cancers. Burnett, he considered Condoranga has a very strong affinity for the tongue. He cured it with he cured with it a jagged ulcer of the tongue. Tongue and lips were looking red. It doesn't matter, but he believes that has got action on tongue, and there was a jagged ulcer in the tongue. He cured such a case with Contorango. It's not sure whether it was a cancerous condition or merely some ulcer. However, he was able to clear a ulcer of the tongue. So that is the symptoms of Contorango, which is very suitable for cancer conditions, especially we start from the mouth area, the lips, cancer lips, then cancer tongue, then going towards esophagus, there may be a cancer like there is stricture of esophagus or cancer stomach. So related symptoms. If it is, the most important indication will be in the right corner of the mouth, there will be a painful crack. So any cancer in which this right corner of mouth is having a painful ulcer, we can think of Contorango. Then in case of stomach cancer, of course, stomach cancer is there. So he will be always vomiting, and indurations or hard growth can be felt mostly in the left hypochondrium. And left hypochondrium, we have this spleen, stomach, and this one also, which is that pancreas. So this cancers, we can think of Cundurango. And if these structures are affected, the digestive system won't be proper. It won't be able to produce their secretions properly. So when we give Cundurango, the cancer will be ameliorating, the digestive function will be improving, all the digestive glands will be secreting secretions properly, and then digestion improves. So the general health of the person also increases. Otherwise, if it is an ulcer condition, it will be long standing, chronic in nature, and from that also very offensive ichorous serous discharge will be uh, coming out, and that is going to be very offensive also. And in that ulcer region there will be extreme pain. Pain will be cutting type, burning type, or a tingling type of pain. So that are the most important symptoms of Cundurango. Along with that, all the skin conditions, the lupus, syphilitic conditions, other ulcers, rugates, or cracks, that is also other symptoms of Cundurango. Then we go to the third remedy, Corralium rubrum. I had never given this, but this is a very good remedy for whooping cough or cough, very characteristic. So Corralium rubrum is actually the red coral which we see in the seas, oceans, etc. Belong to the class of zoophytes. Scientific name is Gorgonia nobilis. Natural order Gorgoniaceae, and preparation is trituration. Trituration of this red coral. Clinically, we give this medicine for two important conditions. The first one is the skin condition, and second one is cough condition. And from this name Corralium rubrum itself, you can remember these two conditions. So the first word Corralium, it is having the spelling CO. So one action of this drug is on respiratory, that is cough. Cough is one action of this drug. So you can get the term cough from this term Corralium. The second one, the condition is on the skin. And in skin, it is going to produce some red color eruptions. So the second term of this drug is actually rubrum. And inflammation, if you remember, whenever we use the term rubrum, it is indicating red color. So the second condition is some red colored eruptions, and that we get from the second name of the drug, rubrum. So that is how we can remember the clinical indications of Corralium rubrum. Corralium, so there is cough, CO. So put other three alphabets, cough you will get. And rubrum, it indicates red color. So the skin which is having red eruptions. So that is what. And now we have to learn, okay, what type of cough it produces, or what type of red eruptions, what are the features. That's what we are going to learn. So clinically, as I told you, a good action on respiratory complaints and also on skin. So in respiratory, the most important will be cough, that too whooping cough, and also for asthma. And in skin, psoriasis, purpura, or syphilis. Now for the indication, Corralium, it is a combination of syphilis and psora. And why you say it is a combination? Because it is going to produce a skin affection. So skin affection, basically it is a psoric miasm. And here it is going to produce some destruction of the skin or reddish skin. And we'll see the nature. I told you that it is producing some reddish color skin, but we'll see the nature of that skin, and that's actually a feature of syphilitic ulcer. So that is why we say Corralium. It is a combination of two miasm. One is psoric miasm, and then another is syphilitic miasm. Constitution as such, Corralium rubrum constitution is not important. If we get the symptoms, that particular cough or that particular skin eruption, we can just give Corralium. But we see that the person is mostly of nervous temperament. We are not saying about any usual height, weight, obesity, or anything about the patient, not his external constitution, but they say that he's of a nervous temperament or anxious in nature. There will be nervous cough, some nerve irritation resulting in cough. And another remedy, important remedy for nervous cough or nerve irritation leading to cough, another important remedy is calibrometer. So this is another one, Corralium rubrum. Otherwise, it's not, the constitution is not that important. So in respiratory, so now we are going to see in detail what are the respiratory complaints. So in respiratory, though there is cough, we'll go to cough later. We'll start with the nose and then we go to the lungs where we will describe about the cough. But in the nose, they have post-nasal catarrh. You know what is post-nasal catarrh? Farha, are you there? Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you know what is post-nasal catarrh?
Post-nasal kata
Hmm?
is like sinusitis, right? Or not?
What will be the
Cold.
feature?
Common cold.
Huh?
Common cold.
Uh, uh,
Like runny nose.
yeah, there will be some common cold sinusitis, but there is a specific feature. When we say postnasal catarrh, there is a specific feature, especially when the person is lying down.
Oh, don't know.
That's the second sentence what I have put. Postnasal catarrh, or we can say it as uh, postnasal dripping. Because as you told, it is sinusitis itself. The ethmoidal sinus. We have this maxillary sinus, frontal sinus, ethmoidal sinus, and sphenoidal sinus. So inflammation and mucus accumulation in these sinus is what we call as sinusitis. So if it is in the maxillary region or in the sphenoidal region, what is happening is towards the posterior part. It's only the frontal sinus which is over here, this frontal area. All others are bit posterior. So when this sinus are filled with discharge, inflammation, I mean their inflammation or sinusitis, what you told, when the person is lying down to sleep, the discharge will be moving from the, it will be dropping out. It is not easy for those discharge to come via nose that easily. Maxillary can, but the sphenoidal and ethmoidal not easily. So what the person is lying down, so you can imagine from their anatomical structure, the special structure or their positioning in the skull area. When we are lying down, I mean those patients, those who are having sinusitis over there, the discharge will be dropping out and dropping out towards the mouth area because it is opening to the that area. So mouth area means when the person is lying down, he will feel that something from the nose is coming to his mouth area. Sometimes we, even once a while, we also may be feeling whenever we have a congestive cold, extreme cold, when we are lying down, suddenly the sputum comes to your throat area, and then you get up to raise it out actually. That is actually called as post-nasal dipping. That is, which is happening in the posterior part of the nasal region. It's not in the anterior. If it is was the anterior, it will be coming out from this nasal cavity, very nice nasal opening very easily, the nostrils very easily. But this is in the posterior part. This will move out only when we are lying down. Because when we are lying down, the gravity is pulling the things, so it will drop out to where? It will come to the nasopharyngeal region, that is in the throat region. So when the person is lying down, he will have a lot of mucus coming in the throat region. So he will get up in between to go and spit it out, the sputum. And he will be wondering, I was sitting all this time. There was no sputum coming up at that time. And when I'm lying down, from where the sputum is coming? That is actually the post-nasal dripping. So this medicine, the Corralium, is a very good remedy for post-nasal catarrh. There is profuse secretion of mucus through the posterior nares, so the posterior part of the nostril, that is the ethmoidal, sphenoidal sinus, etc. So after to the nose, we go towards the lower part. So we have the cuff, which is of whooping cough, not simple cough, whooping cough. So whooping cough, when you remember the disease, the whooping cough, you know that it will be having a characteristic whoop production. Because there is some congestion over there in the neck region or the throat region, the breathing will not be proper. So there will be a crowing voice or a whoop whenever the person is taking us inspiration. So the same thing we can see. The cough in case of Corralium rubrum is whooping cough in nature, smothering in nature. That is, you won't get the breath easily. And there will be great exhaustion after the cough once you finish, because whooping cough is like the person starts coughing, it will be going on, and then towards the end you will be feeling extremely exhausted. That's the nature of whooping cough itself. So there will be crowing inspiration. That's another feature of the whooping cough actually. The crowing inspiration, that's why it is called as whoop or whooping cough. The sensation as if inspired air was icy cold. So crowing inspiration is actually a common symptom of whooping cough, but the feature is in case because for us to give the medicine we need to have our own indication of what the patient told. So crowing respiration inspiration, which is a feature of which disease is this? Whooping cough, but the main feature will be that inspiring air, the patient feels as if it is very icy cold. That is, it's very chilly in nature or sensitive to that air. The cough in minute gun paroxysm, and this term is very important. In case Corralian rubrum is asked, the term that whooping cough is the inspired air will be feeling as if icy cold. And next term that is very important is minute gun. And what is minute gun? Either the curve will be continuous in whooping cough, or at regular intervals, individual cough will be coming up. The isolated cough in regular interval. That is called as minute gun. So imagine a gun which is firing in a gap of 1 minute. So not 1 minute regularly. In case of this person who need Corralium, they will be coughing, one cough or isolated cough, or it can be bout also, but in a what is that? In a uh, interval will be the like every 2 minutes he will be having one spasm of cough, like two or three or four or five, a bout of cough, and after that silence, nothing is there, and again after 2 minutes, another bout of cough. So there will be individual cough or isolated cough in regular interval. That is what the term minute gun paroxysms mean. So when you write Corralium, this term minute gun paroxysm is very important. So there is much drowsiness and many symptoms appear during sleep. Do you remember any other drug in which there is cough? Along with that, there is drowsiness. It starts with A.
Mm, A.
Hmm. Another drug is also there that is also starting with A. Any guess?
Aconite.
And aconite is good for cough, but not drowsiness. Aconite is actually the congestion, fear, anxiety, restlessness. That's the feature of aconite. You remember the drug
Restless.
antimtat? Which one
Anti.
you told? Antimtat.
Yes.
Antimonium tartaricum. It is very
Yes.
important. Huh. In its drowsiness, cough is very important. The sputum won't come out. We feel like the patient is coughing and coughing and coughing, and there is a lot of phlegm accumulated in his chest, and we feel like he is going to expectorate, but he's not going to expectorate. We call that term as death rattle. And in antimtart also, there is much uh, drowsiness or sleepy sensation, or the person will be always sleepy. And another drug which is having this feature of sleepiness is uh, Ethusa, Ethusa synapium. You learn that drug, Ethusa. There is epilepsy, there is vomiting. Cough is not that
Uh,
much important, but
it's for
epilepsy. What?
vomiting for baby. Right?
Yeah, mainly. So they also will be having that drowsiness. So similarly, Corralium is also having much drowsiness. Um, then the I should put this symptom earlier.
Cannot hear you.
Yeah, see,
Cannot hear you.
you can't hear me.
Just now, why you talking?
No. I was talking to myself. I put one symptom later. Uh, because when I copy paste, I initially take the symptoms from J.H. Clark. I like his book Materia Medica very much, and then I go to Boric. So sometimes the symptoms it will be of same drug, but the position may not be exactly matching. So I was thinking that the next sentence that I put, whooping cough, it should come earlier because here we are mentioning about the whooping cough. So this sentence should come over there. So I was talking to myself. It should go up. That's what I was saying. So whooping cough. What is the nature of whooping cough is? We already told it can be minute gun in regular intervals, but there can be another one. Another one here, whooping cough or any other kind of cough when the attack comes on with a very rapid cough and the attack follows so closely as to almost run into each other. So in whooping cough or any type of cough where corallium is indicated, we are getting two type of cough, and that is extremely opposite to each other. In one, we are seeing it is minute gun, like in a periodic interval, a bout of cough will be coming. Some like that, then silence for 2 minutes, then again cough. So that is one type of cough in corallium, the minute gun cough, and another one is like a cough came, a paroxysm is happening, the person is continuously coughing, and then the attack is coming in continuously, that even one cough has not finished, one set of cough has not finished, the second attack has started. It feels like both are running almost into each other, which in net effect means the person will be coughing continuously. He will be starting with a bout. He won't get a gap to take a breath even, because continuously, if we are having a cough, not forget whooping cough, if we are having cough, we will be coughing, but there is a stop for somewhere. We take a breath actually. But in Corralium rhodra, that's a feature of whooping cough also. The bouts come so frequently that it goes on continuous cough for some time. And when the person is continuously coughing for this much time, obviously he is not going to get a proper breath, a proper inspiration. And that's why when the cough ends, he will be much exhausted because he was not even taking breath in between, he was continuously coughing. So that is the true nature of the cough in Corallium rubrum. Either it is minute gun, isolated cough in periodic interval, or it will be very continuous. One attack of cough is going on, immediately the second attack comes, and we feel like it is going parallel, both the attacks. Oh, the cough, the sentence goes like that because it is English, so they are making it rhythmic. But what happening is with the cough is it will be a continuous one. The person without even getting breath, he is continuously coughing, which means he will be exhausted when finally he stops to take a breath. And along with that, then it is much suitable to use the word drowsiness because we have mentioned all the cough nature. Then change of air causes coughing. We already saw that this person, the inspired air was icy cold. So this person is actually chilly. So even the change of air causes coughing. Feels cold when uncovered and too hot when covered. So though he feels air is cold and all, he has got a strange feeling that he feels cold when uncovered. When there is no, or he is not covered properly, he feels too chilly. And then when he goes and uses a blanket or something, he feels too hot. So such a feature this person is having. Whatever, whether he feels cold when he is uncovered, or whether he is feeling hot when he is covered, always the air he takes in, he feels it as icy cold. And then the cough comes out. An aggravation during sleeping and after waking, because this we saw that the drug is syphilitic in nature, and all the syphilitic medicines, there is a midnight aggravation. So aggravation is seen during sleep. So that is the cough of Corralium rubrum, the whooping cough with a crowing inspiration, the minute gun cough, or the two attacks following closely so that it goes together, and sensation as if inspired air was icy cold. They have a smothering sensation, associated drowsiness. So this is with the cough. At least remember the term, the minute gun, growing respiration, and also attack closely running to each other. Then in skin, we told the second action, that is the rubrum or the skin. So the character of skin nature of Corallian rubrum is very important and also very interesting. We can see that it causes eruptions which are its own color, that is coral red. So most of the eruptions in the skin, it will be appearing very red in color. Initially it actually starts as red color, the red spots on palm of the hands. At first it will be coral color or the bright red, but on standing it becomes darker and finally coppery. Coppery is like a brown tint will be coming. So initially it will start as a bright red, then a slight darkening will come, and then it appears as coppery color. Coppery means that brownish in nature. And this feature, when we say the color is changing, if I'm going to write it like this, it will be red, then it will be changing to a dark red. Like this. And then it is going towards a brown or coppery color. This is what we are saying in that big sentence. It starts with red. And this feature is actually the feature of eruptions in syphilis. If a person is contracting syphilis, he will be initially having a chancre, an ulcer, which will be appearing red in color. After some days, it will become dark red in color and that browny or that coppery color appear. And that's actually the nature of syphilis disease, also which is seen in syphilis. So the same thing is what they say in the therapeutic. So if we see this nature that initially it starts with red and then brown, dark and then dark brown, then corallium is indicated, and that is why we told that it is a anti-syphilitic remedy. Here in the initial sentence, we told that the person is a combination of syphilis and SORA. So SORA because there is skin in affections, and that skin affections, it is actually the nature of syphilitic eruptions. SORA eruptions will be always very itching. Syphilitic eruptions, it won't be that much itchy as that of SORA, but that color change is very characteristic. It starts with red, becoming dark red, and then brownish. So in case of skin of Corralium rubrum, we have the red spots, first coral color, then darker, and finally coppery. Then this we are saying about the hands, but it can be any part of the body, okay? But because we are saying about syphilis, then there should be some skin changes in the sexual organs also. So that's what it is told next. There will be red, flat ulcers on the glans penis, and also in the inner surface of the prepuce. Both are the structures which are seen in the penis, with secretion of a quantity or with secretion of a yellow ichor discharge. Yellow ichor discharge means secretion of yellow. Now it is more complete. So ichorus is actually, I told you, serous discharge. It won't be any bloody. It will be straw colored or yellow colored and very offensive. So ichorus discharge, if it is coming, it means destruction of that tissue has taken place. It has a syphilitic miasm. In our homeopathic word, it is now syphilitic miasm. So even in the prepuce or in the glans, red ulcers will come up with yellow ichorus discharge. The primary. Now, if you go and take your syphilis in practice of medicine, you will see that initially in case of syphilis, they will be producing this, what is that, chancre or ulcer. We call it a syphilitic chancre, 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 but actually it is ulcer. They just termed it as chancre. Ultimately, it means it is a ulcer. So it will be red color, flat in nature, which will later change its color, and from the very offensive smelling yellow color discharge will be coming out. And because it is not bloody, it is feel like a mucus discharge, but not whitish. Comparatively like a fluid from the body is coming out. So a yellow ichorus discharge will be seen. So that is the feature of Corralium in cough and also skin. Cough, the minute gun cough or the crowing, whooping cough, which is very continuous, crowing inspiration, and that extreme chilly on uncovering and extreme hot when covered. That's a feature. And in skin, the syphilitic eruption, starting as red color, then going towards dark color or dark red, and then to brownish. Then regarding the modalities, it is worse in open air, changing from a warm to cold room. Relationship, this medicine is, or Corralium is complementary to sulfur, or its action is completed by sulfur. Whenever there is a psychosyphilitic miasm, if you remember, we have to give a syphilitic remedy. Then for a complete cure, as per Henneman, we have to give a antisodic. That is why the complementary sulfur came up, because Corralium rubrum is both sorosyphilitic. The last drug for today is Cratageus oxycantha, and you already told it is for heart complaints and also for hypertension you can give, and also to dissolve any deposits in the vessels like arteriosclerosis. We can give this medicine. So its common name is hawthorn berries. Natural odor is rosaceae. Preparation, tincture of the ripe fruit. Clinical condition, we told heart. And it can be indicated in any complaint of heart, be that heart failure or heart hypertrophy, cardiac hypertrophy. We can give any complaints. Even angina pectoris, we can give Cratageus. But we have better medicines for angina. We have got cactus, adrenaline, aconite. I have got medicine, but still this is indicated in angina. So this is mostly heart complaints, okay? A lot of pathological symptoms we can see rather than characteristic symptom. We don't find any characteristic symptoms over here. We are going to see only some pathological symptoms. So whenever there is pathological symptoms and no characteristic or individual symptoms, definitely we have to go for the hypotensive and Cratageus. I don't know about over here, but I have never seen in India being prescribed in potency. Cratageus 30 or 200 is not prescribed usually. Usually it is given as a tincture or as a tonic. Tonic in the sense like a patent medicine, like they will be just naming card aid, and then for all the heart remedies, whatever I told you now, cactus, and then
Why
aconite.
why
Hmm?
why there is not a prescribing in potency?
They don't prescribe because whenever we have to give medicine in potency, we should have a individual feature for her, the characteristic feature. Because now in this, what is this characteristic feature? It should be the patient saying. Now what we told was this symptom. Okay, take Corralium rubrum. We saw this growing inspiration. And now if you go and take the practice of medicine textbook, and you are going to learn or going to read whooping cough, you will see this term, not the crowing inspiration, but it will say that during inspiration there is a whoop that is formed, or a characteristic sound will be produced because there is obstruction in taking in the air, and that is how the disease name have come. So this growing inspiration, that is a feature of whooping cough. It is a disease feature. It is not an individual feature. So any person who is having whooping cough, he should be having this growing inspiration because that is the feature of the disease. That's why we call it as a whooping cough and not just any cough. But then why? And when we are going to take medicines for whooping cough in homeopathy, we will be having a lot of medicine. Like we do have pertussinum, the nosol, pertussinum, which is taken from the sputum of a whooping cough patient itself. So why don't we give this medicine, pertussinum? We have Drosera or any other medicine. Why we select Corralium rubrum? And for Corralium rubrum to select, we need to have some individual character. And individual character is what the patient told us. That is why in Materia Medica we learn always in the patient language. So the patient has told that he felt that the inspiring air is being felt as icy. And now you go and take whooping cough in practice of medicine, you will for sure will find out this symptom, crowing inspiration, which I told they won't use the term crowing. What we find will be the characteristic whoop is found. That is what we are going to see in the textbook. But in nowhere in whooping cough, in a practice of medicine textbook, we are going to get the sensation, this sensation. The patient told as if the air inspired is icy cold. They won't. For them, there is no sensations. Sensation of pain may be there, but they won't give any practice of medicine book you take and you read the disease. They are not going to describe how the patient will feel. Maybe they just say about the pain nature. Otherwise, no whooping cough will be will be saying that the inspired air was icy cold. This is said by a patient. When we were doing the proving, the prover said this sentence. And when a patient says this to us, sensation means always what the patient feels, his emotions or whatever he feels. It's not something that we feel. It's that what patient feels. So when we get that symptom, it is then we have to give in potency. That means in higher potency, so that it is matching with his emotional sensations and all. But when we come to this drug, Cratageus, and I have written actually a lot of symptoms. The Cratageus, see from here it starts, it goes up to here, and here none of this sentence you will feel, you will see that patient felt so and so. You won't find, you will find all pathological symptoms. You will find as if you are reading a pathology or a practice of medicine textbook. You won't find patient sentences over there or patient sensations over there. And when you don't find patient language, what patient felt, in those conditions, we have got only pathological symptoms or the disease symptoms. So in those conditions, we should never give high potency because we have not got individual feature. In those conditions, we have to go for lower potency like 6C or even the tincture. So whenever we give tincture, we don't have an individual character. They will be just saying this is good for diabetes mellitus. For example, one of the most commonly given medicine for diabetes is Syzygium tincture. And you don't get any characteristic feature, any something that patient told you. It will be diabetes, urine with glycosuria. What is the patient's symptom over there? It's only disease symptom. So in disease symptoms, when it is purely pathological, always go for a lower potency because we have not got individualistic feature. Now I'll just go through it. You see whether there is any feature of the patient. So indications is it produces giddiness or drowsiness, lower pulse, hair hanger, or the patient will feel like because the patient is having a vertigo or giddiness. Of course, when a person is having giddiness or there is a vertigo, patient is getting unconscious or lying down. What we usually say is the people to move away, so that the air come to him, and also we will loosen his dress. So the person will be having air hunger and a reduced blood pressure. This indicates actually a giddiness or a collapse condition, a simple collapse where the person is actually becoming unconscious, or a patient or a syncope. There is no characteristic symptom over there. So this medicine, the second symptom is it acts on muscles of heart and is a heart tonic, but there is no influence on the endocardium. So mostly this medicine is acting on the muscle uh, heart muscles and not on any endocardium or the inner part of the heart. But it actually acts on myocardium. There is inflammation of myocardia, so there is myocarditis. And in myocarditis, there will be failing compensation. Failing compensation, it means the heart will be trying. Myocarditis, inflammation of the myocardium. So the heart will be trying very hard. Now the heart is affected, so its pumping activity is not taking place. But to manage the circulation, heart will hardly try to pump the blood, but it won't be successful, or it will be very weak in action. So that is what it is meant by failing compensation. It's not able to compensate this damage that has happened. There is irregular function of the heart. There will be insomnia of aortic sufferers. Aortic sufferers means people who are having some aortic valve disease. They won't be able to sleep properly, and insomnia. And why this insomnia happens? Because when they are lying down, there is more blood which is coming from the leg region to the heart region. So heart has to pump more forcefully, but it is not possible for heart to do it forcefully. So the person will be having some kind of dyspnea. He will be getting up and sitting. He won't be able to sleep. That is why there is insomnia. The person will be having anemia. If the circulation is not going good, the nourishment is not happening, there will be symptoms of anemia. There will be edema or cardiac edema and cutaneous chilliness. Then this medicine can be given for high arterial tension. Earlier we saw that there can be a collapse condition when there is when the person is feeling hypotension. But this medicine is also good in case of hypertension, high arterial tension. This can be sedative in cross irritable patients with cardiac symptoms. So this is the only sentence where we are getting some feature about the patient. Other than this, okay, well, I will come until down and then we'll see. So here we say that it is going to induce sleep in a person who is very cross and irritable. And then he will see if he is having a cardiac symptom, it acts as a sedative. Which means it is going to induce sleep. And how it is going to induce sleep? Because this is a heart medicine. And actually, they are having insomnia not because of any mental tension. They can't because of the heart is not able to pump properly. So when we are going to give Cratageus, it is going to act on heart. It is going to give strength to that heart muscle. It is going to restore heart. So the heart pumping happens properly. So then sleep will be coming to the patient. It is not that the person is feeling insomniac who is sleepless, and then you feel like, oh, he's having cardiac dyspnea. So let's give Cratageus. His dyspnea will be ameliorating. but it won't be like a then he will go into a sleep stage. It won't be like a sedative like what we see with chloroform. You keep chloroform and then immediately, usually if you have the habit of seeing Bollywood movies, usually we could see they are applying chloroform and the person and the actress mostly she is going to unconscious or unconscious condition, or even allopathy they inject this sedative, the person immediately goes into a sedation. It is not happening like that. It will take some time. The dyspnea has to improve, and naturally the person will be going into sleep. Not that you give the medicine and suddenly the patient starts sleeping, nothing like that. Then, this is also given for chronic heart disease with extreme weakness, very feeble and irregular heart action, general anasaka. So this we have told. So chronic heart disease, where there is weakness and also general anasaka. But we don't have to say this because we already told this sentence, this anasaka over here in edema. We put this sentence over there. And if the person is having heart complaints, obviously his circulation is not good. So there will be cold extremities, pallor, irregular pulse, breathing. And we have also seen this is a medicine good for angina. So there will be a painful sensation in the left side of the chest below to the clavicle. That's the only sentence that is indicating a pain, the angina. This is a good medicine that we can give in the beginning of heart mischief after rheumatism, which means you have learned the rheumatic fever. The rheumatic fever, after to that, it can develop into a rheumatic heart disease. So during rheumatic fever itself, it produces certain kind of murmur. You see the disease condition of rheumatic fever, there will be some murmurs, heart complaints. So in the beginning stage, if we give, it is a good action because we have seen that it is a very good uh, heart tonic. One minute. Hello, Farah.
Yes.
Yeah, someone came to the clinic. That's why. So somewhere I was. Okay, what this symptom was. I was saying about. Uh, Okay. Yeah, over here we have seen that it's good for cardiac dropsy. This just repetition. Okay, there is a fatty degeneration of heart or deposition of fat content or arteriosclerosis. Can be aortic disease, and when these things are there will be dyspnea on least exertion. The heart muscles seem flabby, worn out, which is seen in case of hypertrophy of heart. The heart is
Mm-mm.
dilated, first sound is weak. Pulse will be irregular, feeble, intermittent, accelerated. It can be anything, it can be increased, but it will be very feeble, not so strong, intermittent in nature. And because the congestion, not congestion, circulation is not working, there will be features of cyanosis. And that's what we told here, cold extremities, pallor, etc. We don't need, there is already irregular pulse, congestion and pallor. And then the angina features, and then the rheumatics in the beginning of the heart after a heart mischief or heart complaints. But that's the term used in Clark, so I'm keeping like that. So any heart complaints after to rheumatism, it is told that in infectious diseases, it helps to protect the heart. So a person who is especially having diseases of rheumatic fever, because we know that rheumatic fever can lead into heart diseases. If you are giving Cratageus at that time to the patient, they say that it can sustain heart or it won't go into heart complications. Or even if it is going, even the initial stage, if we give Cratageus, it won't develop into a much complicated condition. Then this is also a good medicine for arteriosclerosis. It is said to have a solvent power upon some deposits because we have already seen there is fatty degeneration. So if we give Cratageus, there is a solvent power upon crustaceous and calcareous deposits. Some deposits in the arteries is having this atherosclerosis. Then we can give Cratageus. Uh, Modalities. So in this whole symptomatology, do you see any symptom of patient? It's completely as if
No.
you're reading a pathology textbook or a practice of medicine textbook. Only
Mm?
thing we can say, if you're reading all these symptoms, indications from
Mm-mm.
starting from here to here, we are not seeing any symptom where the patient is saying something. These are all the symptoms of the disease.
Mm-mm.
That is where we don't give higher potency, we give only the lower potency. Oh, Cratageus is always usually prescribed in the tincture. I have never seen someone giving it 30 or 200. It's always given in tincture. That's how we decide. Unless we get any characteristic feature, better don't go. And if a person is not having a characteristic feature means or an individualistic feature, the person has actually gone into much pathological condition. If you remember Ken's 12 observation, one of the observation, I don't remember which observation, it is either second observation, the condition has gone into two pathological, that it is now no longer in our hands. I mean, it is not the person is not going to produce any individual symptoms, his special symptoms, only disease symptoms we will see. In those conditions, better give the medicine in the lowest potency, even tincture, but not continuously also, should be very sure. So that is why what I wanted to say is you asked me the question why low potency? Low potency because of this. Because here you see only nosological term. It produces giddiness, lower pulse, there is air hunger, reduce the blood pressure, which is the collapse of heart. It acts on the muscle of heart is a heart tonic. There is myocarditis, there is aortic sufferers, so valvular complaints, anemia, edema, cutaneous chilliness because there is cyanosis. And that cyanosis is again explained as there will be cold extremities, pallor, and heart disease with extreme weakness, where there is heart muscle seems flabby, worn out, heart dilated, etc. There will be cardiac dropsy, Dyspnea, only is exertion without much. So all the symptoms are nosological. There is no characteristic symptoms actually over here. With heart pathology, heart related, circulation related, whatever we can write over here. Some important terms when you're writing exam, all of this is not going to come. So I'll say you what exactly should be the this one. It is a heart tonic. Then this is good for high arterial tension. All the colored ones are very important, okay? And then
Okay.
cardiac dropsy, the chronic heart diseases. Whatever you remember, you can put it in. The cyanotic condition, that is the cold extremities. And the angina, the painful sensation, which is not that important. And then this one is important. In the beginning of rheumatism, after rheumatism, rheumatic fever, we have the heart complaint, and also for arteriosclerosis. It has a solvent power upon prosthesis. It can be removed. So these are the symptoms of Cratageus oxycantha. Aggravation in warm room, amelioration in fresh air, quiet and rest. And this is actually, we can connect this with a collapse condition. Like people who are already in a collapse condition, they have that air hunger. They want that air completely. So they want to be in fresh air area, open air area. Then relationship, that is rather a comparison. It can be like other medicines that are compared are all heart tonics, Strophanthus, digitalis, iberis, naja, cactus. And in dose, it is usually given in tincture, 1 to 15 drops must be used for some time in order to obtain good results. What I have seen usually doctors prescribe is 5 drops at night for a long time, at least for 6 months. That's how I have seen this medicine being prescribed. So because the patient, this is heart complaint, na? So the patient will be having mostly the symptoms when the patient is lying down. He can't take breath properly. So just giving 5 drops, it will improve the situation. We earlier saw that there will be insomnia, and I told you that is because he can't lie down. There will be dyspnea. He will have to sit up. So when this medicine is given in smaller doses, like 5 drops in water for 6 months in a longer gap, this is going to increase the heart health. So that's for today. Any doubts, Farha?
Mm, how about the assignment?
How about the
Assignment.
assignment? I will send you. I will send you. I couldn't prepare. I will check and send you actually. I have to go through your CLO, PLO, etc. And actually now it's time for me to go to, I don't know if they already called me or not. No. I have to go to Ministry of Health. I had to do something about my practicing certificate. So I will send you soon, okay? Probably this weekend or by Monday I will send you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Have you taken a screenshot?
No,
Please take one.
screenshot. Because I just using phone.
Oh, even my Microsoft is not opening. Are you able to see me?
It's okay. I will screenshot it for you.
Uh, okay, you have to take 2 screenshots, okay?
Two?
First one, yeah, take this one. What you're saying, Corralium rhodum, right?
Okay.
Okay, and another one with this. Waiter, this one. Because I have to put this as 2 attendance, that is why 2 screenshots.
Okay.
Okay. Please send it to me, the two. I'll send you the document now.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Farah. See you on Monday.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.